Hey everybody, it's me, your teacher, Mr. Singer. And guess what? Today I have our online math book. So we actually have math books, and you're thinking, hey, I don't have one yet. But don't worry, it's online. You can get at it through Clever. But for today, you don't have to go through Clever. We're going to just look at it together here and do some problems together. So this is all the stuff that we've been practicing, which is greatest common factor and least common multiple. So let's try a couple problems together, and then you're going to try some on your own. So here we have 8 and 32, and just as a reminder of how to do this, first of all, greatest, that means the biggest, and common is on both lists, and factor means numbers that you multiply to make something else. So let's do 8 here, we'll do 32 here, right? And remember, we use the rainbow method. So 8 is 1 times 8 and 2, put a comma there, times 4. And those are all the factors of 8. Now 32 has some more factors, so let's try that. That's going to be 1 and 32. And what else it's going to be? It's going to be 2 times 16, right? 2 times 16. I happen to know that because I know my times tables well. And 3 doesn't go, oh, but 4 goes. It's going to be 4 times 8. And hopefully you see that knowing your times tables is really important for this kind of thing. So now we want the greatest common factor. So what is the greatest or biggest number on both lists? Well, 2 is on both lists, 4 is on both lists, but the biggest number that's on both lists is 8. So the greatest common factor of 8 and 32 is 8. So notice sometimes the answer is one of the numbers. Not always, but sometimes it is. Got it? Let's do one more together. Let's clear what I have here. Oh, clear all. Yes. Okay, so let's try 24 and 60 because that's those are kind of big numbers, are a little bit harder. So the factors I'm going to kind of write over here. 24 and we have 60, right? So the factors of 24, there's a lot of factors. We have 1 and 24. We have 2 and 12. Notice I always put a comma so that I know the numbers are separated. And we have 3 and 8. Oh my gosh, there's a lot. And then we have 4 and 6. 4 and 6. Great. Now, for this, I can look at this. 60 is really big right now, right? So what is the biggest number that fits into both of them? Well, I know it's going to be 1 and 60. 1 and 60. And now I know it's an even number, so I know 2 is going to fit in. So I think, well, 2 times what is 60? Oh, I know, that's easy. That's 30. So far, we don't have anything over here that's on this list, too. So now, does 3 times something 60? It is. 3 times, well, 3 times 2 is 6, so it must be 3 times 20, right? Oh, sorry, I forgot one of my rainbows here. 2 times 30. Now, what about 4 times 15? Oh my gosh. 4 times 15. I'm running out of space. And the last one that I know fits, because I know 5 times something is 60, because this ends with a 0, which means it's divisible by 5, and it's 5 times 12. And now I look, what is the biggest number that's on both lists? I'm going to switch colors, and it is 12 is on both lists, and it's the biggest number on both lists. Because 4 is also on both lists, and 2 and 3, but 12 is the biggest number that's on both lists. Got it? So now I want you to try this next one, and it is 3, 12, and 18. So you're going to get this started. Let me clear my drawings here. All right, so I'll just kind of give you a clue of how you're going to get started. On your paper, you're going to write a 3, you're going to write a 12, you're going to write an 18. Give yourself plenty of space because, you know, you don't want to get all crowded like I do on here. So what are the factors of 3? What are all the factors of 12? What are all the factors of 18? And then what is the greatest number that fits into all of them? Ready, go. Okay, so you should have figured out that 3 is 1 and 3. 12 is going to be, well, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Well, right now I can see that the difference for 3 and 12, it's going to be 3, right? Because these other numbers aren't on 3. So 18, I'm just going to look at the 3's. Is 3 times something 18? Yeah, 3 times 6 is 18. So now I can see that 3 is the biggest number that's on all the lists. Even though between 12 and 18, 6 is both on that list, but it has to be on all of the lists. So 3 is the answer to that. Cool. Now let's see. Oh, now let's try one of the other ones. Let me clear all this. And now this is different. This is the least common multiple. So least is small, right? This is where we do the skip counting. And I'm going to multiple. I always think of it as skip counting. That helps me remember. So 7 and 9. That means I'm going to count by 7s. I'm going to count by 9s. So now if you just know your 7s times tables and your 9s times tables, you could probably do this quickly without skip counting. But I know it's going to be 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. 6 times 7 is 42. 7 times 7 is 49. 8 times 7 is 56. And then 9 times 7 is 63. Now, one shortcut, because we all love shortcuts, is when I look at all these numbers, 63, 56, 49, are there any of these numbers that I know are also multiples of 9? Well, I could write out my 9s. I could do 9, 18, 27, 36, like that. But I just know that 63 is 7 times 9. So that way I know that 63 is going to be the only one that 9 fits into on this list. So the answer would be 63. Now I could just keep doing this. So 4 times 9, then 5 times 9 is 45. 6 times 9 is 54, and then 63. So I could write it all out and do it that way, but this is just a shortcut. Got it? All right, so let's have you try number 5 all on your own. Ready, go. Okay, so for 6 and 15, you should know that we're going to count by 6s. 6, and then 12, and then 18, and then 24, and then 30, and 36, and then counting by 15s, well, I know it's 15. 15 times 2 is 30. I use a clock to help me remember. 15 times 3 is 45. 15 times 4 is 60. And is there a number that's on both lists? Remember, for this, we want the least, the smallest number that's on both lists. And for here, that is 30. 30 is on both lists. So the answer to this is 30. Got it? Cool beans. Okay, so let's skip these and let's move right on to the main part of this, which is the independent practice. All right, so now we're going to try the independent practice. And to make life easier for everybody, we're just going to do the odd ones, okay? So here we have number 1 on independent practice. Find the greatest, let me go back to my pen here. Find the greatest common factor of these numbers. So greatest common factor of 8 and 14. Ready, go. All right, so for 8 and 14, you can do the 8 list and the 14 list. And 8 is 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. And 14 is 1 and 14. and 2 times 7. So what is the biggest number that's on both lists? 2. That is the greatest common factor. Easy peasy, right? All right, so since that's so easy, I would like you to try number 3 on your own. Ready, go. All right, so for this one, we have 21, 35, 49. Now here's something that's really helpful. If you know your times tables really well, you know that all of these numbers are on some times table list, right? And I know that 21 is 7 times 3. I know the 35 is 7 times 5, and this is 7 times 7. So that means the biggest number that fits into all of these is going to be 7. Isn't that a quick way to do it? But that only works if you know your times tables really well. If you like kind of sort of know them, but you have to count on your fingers or whatever, then that won't really work. Okay, let's clear this. And now we're doing least common multiple. So let's try least common multiple of 5 and 6. Ready, go. Okay, so for the least common multiple of 5 and 6, you can count by 5s, you can count by 6s, right? Now again, once you know your times tables really well, then you can do this sort of in your head. But let's just try for now the long way. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and so on. Now, I can look at this list and think, is there any of these numbers that 6 fits into, that multiplies evenly? Well, I know 6 doesn't fit into 15 evenly or 20, but I know it does fit into 30. So that is another shortcut, because I could do my 6s. I could do 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Oh, look, it's on both lists. But because I knew my 6 times tables really well, I could do it in a shortcut like that, which you are welcome to do. Okay, now you guys do this one, 6, 12, and 15. Ready, go. Okay, so for this one, to make life a little bit easier for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a bigger number, right? And so remember, this is skip counting because it is least common multiple. That's where we kind of skip count. So 15s, I start with 15, and then 2 times 15 is 30. I do this by looking at like on a clock, you know, like you have 15 minutes and it's a quarter past and 3. Then you have 45. Now I have 45, and then I have 60. All right, so now we're looking for the least common multiple, smallest number that they all fit into. So these are numbers that 15 fits into. So now, is there anything on this list that 6 fits into? Well, 6 fits into 30, and it fits into 60. Okay, so now how about 12? Is there something on the list that 12 fits into? 12 times nothing is 15. 12 doesn't fit into 30 or 45. 12 does fit into 60, which means 60 would be on all 3 lists. So your answer to this is 60. Got it? Cool. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, let's look at a word problem, because everybody loves word problems. A gardener has 27 pansies and 36 daisies. 27, so that looks important. I'm going to circle that. 27 pansies and 36 daisies. He plants an equal number of rows on each type of flower in each row. What is the greatest possible number of pansies in each row? So basically what that means is we need to find the GCF of 27 and 36, right? So we have 27 and 36. What are the numbers that multiply to 27? Well, I know it's 1 and 27. That's easy. And then there's not that many others on here. It's 3 times 9, right? So let's draw my rainbows. 3 times 9, 1 times 27. And what about 36? Well, I know it's 1 times 36, but is there anything on this list that I know goes into 36? That will save me a lot of time. I know 9 goes into 36. So I'll say, well, 9 times 4 is 36, right? So if I have 4 and 9, they would be 36. So I know that 9 is the biggest number on both lists. So my answer is 9. Oops, sorry, I'm not drawing well. Answer is 9. Got it? Great. All right, and that, my friends, is all we have for today's lesson. If you did this and you think it's great, then yeah, you did a good job. You see the things on here. If you want to pause and just try the even numbered problems just for extra practice, you are welcome to do that. Otherwise, see you tomorrow. Please make sure you turn this in. And that's all I have to say to you. So, Singer out.